ready.
Wait a minute.
Keep your
Watch
eyes
the
on the
game.
Oh, my God.
Meet Sean Morley. If I made this video a few weeks ago, I would have been able to call him Val Venis, but a certain someone recently purchased that trademark, and it now means something else completely. He has worked at numerous promotions, including WWE, TNA, CMLL, where he became the youngest world champion in company history, and New Japan Pro Wrestling. Morley's biggest claim to fame was during the Attitude Era for the then WWF, working under the name of Val Venis, a character which was that of a porn star. While he is most known for this gimmick and also achieved moderate success during that period of time, he would also become known later on for being a complete lunatic online. And that is what we will be discussing in today's video. If you do enjoy this video and you want to see more videos about the random stuff that comes to my brain in regards to pro wrestling, be sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. With that being said, let's get right into it. Before we get into the real meat and potatoes of this video, I'm going to give you a rundown on Morley so you have the littlest idea of who this guy is, even as a performer, just in case you don't have the slightest clue who he is, which I would not blame you for. Morley signed with the World Wrestling Federation in 1998 and adopted the ring name Val Venis, which was used for a character he portrayed that depicted a porn star crossing over to pro wrestling.
This is such good shit.
This debuted during the height of the Attitude Era, which is known as one of the biggest boom periods the company and arguably the entire industry of pro wrestling has ever seen. Venis at the time was an okay mid-card character for this period and was able to get over to an extent within the company, winning their Intercontinental Championship twice, as well as winning both the European Championship and the Tag Team Championship with Lance Storm. While the peak of this gimmick was solid, it became obvious over time that it did indeed have a very short shelf life, and the WWF/E knew this and tried their absolute best to pivot, putting him in right to censor with wrestlers who are actually talented, such as Stevie Richards and Ivory, and even made him Eric Bischoff's chief of staff using his actual name. After this run with Bischoff that lasted about 6 months, give or take, came to an end, Morley would revert back to the Val Venis character and sort of toiled away in the lower card for the additional 6 years that he remained with the company. His most notable moments included him facing CM Punk on an episode of Heat, which was Raw's sister show at the time, and that helped Punk gain a developmental contract with WWE, and also his match with Triple H in 2005, where Triple H cracked a steel chair over Morley's head and legitimately knocked him the fuck out. In the 3 years that followed this match, he would do a whole lot of nothing before WWE released him in 2009, as the company became PG rated during the time Morley was gone due to an injury, and his gimmick was no longer appropriate. Following his release from WWE, he would make some appearances with New Japan Pro Wrestling and Hulk Hogan's Hulkamania tour in Australia, and this is where Hogan took the liberties to sign Morley to a contract in TNA. If you're a returning viewer of this channel and you do think that this story sounds similar, it's because Hogan did the exact same thing with Orlando Jordan and other wrestlers around this time period, which I covered in a previous video. Morley debuted with the company in January of 2010 under his real name and used a character that was very similar to the Val Venis character, with the only difference being that instead of starring in porn, he is now a porn director. He started a program with Christopher Daniels, which led to a match at TNA Genesis where Morley defeated Daniels in less than 10 minutes. Side note, this is 1 month after Daniels had just faced AJ Styles for the World Championship in the main event of TNA's last pay-per-view of 2009, Final Resolution. He would go on to have just 2 more matches with the company, a loss to the Pope D'Angelo Dinero in under 4 minutes, and he would beat Jeff Jarrett in less than 2 minutes in a Falls Count Anywhere match that Eric Bischoff started in the TNA men's room. He left the company the day after his final match due to TNA moving their weekly show to Monday nights to compete with the WWE, and this move to Mondays affected Morley's plan to work with both TNA and CMLL consistently. The funny part about this, however, is the fact that according to Cage Match, he has not wrestled a single match for CMLL since 1999. So it's either he just wanted out of TNA because it was a shit show, or he dropped TNA for CMLL and CMLL told him to go fuck himself. Both scenarios are pretty funny to me personally. After his split from TNA, he would go on to wrestle a handful of matches per year on the independents until he retired around 2019, although since he has wrestled about 5 matches. During retirement is where we would get the real Sean Morley in the form of Twitter. Morley would get very active on Twitter, fuck you, I'm not calling it X, after retirement, and would discuss various topics on the platform such as abortion and transgender women. More specifically, at the time, it was directed towards All Elite Wrestling's then Women's World Champion Nyla Rose, who is a trans woman, saying that AEW should put the title on a quote-unquote actual woman. This is only one of the outbursts that Morley has had on this app in regards to trans people. His account got suspended in 2021 after he shared an image of what he believed was Hunter Biden, the son of current President Joe Biden, having sex with Malia Obama, the daughter of former President Barack Obama, when in reality, he just shared random CP to the website. Somehow, he was reactivated to the app and continued his antics. This would go on for years, where he continued to use his religion as a mask to push agendas towards marginalized groups of people. This was the case when Morley and Twitter user Hang'em High, also known on the platform as V, where Morley had signaled the user multiple times in one post stating that they were suffering from the woke-minded virus, whatever the fuck that means. This, along with other attempts to egg the user on, led to V finding out that the Val Venis trademark had been lapsed by WWE, and that Morley never acted on claiming it after the fact. What I'm about to share with you is the exact reason why I made this video in the first place. V would go on to trademark Val Venis out of spite for Morley, and with the help of Matt Kuhn, a wrestling podcast host and musician, established valvenis.com just a few days ago as of this recording. Val Venis is now used as an acronym that stands for Valued Allies of LGBTQ+, Vital Educational and Non-Judgmental Informational Service. The website is used to raise awareness towards LGBTQ and many different causes within the community, such as the Trevor Project and transequality.org. The website is also selling stickers currently for $2.42 USD, and 100% of the proceeds are going throughout various LGBTQ+ charities. From what I understand, Morley is now crashing out publicly on Twitter, shaking his fist angrily at the world, and yelling at Twitter users to give him his name back, even though he didn't give two shits enough before to trademark it, as well as spamming more posts about the LGBTQ+ community, while fighting for a name that doesn't belong to him anymore and frankly never belonged to him to begin with. In 2024, I view Sean Morley the same way that I would view Disco Inferno, an old washed-up wrestler who was lucky enough to stumble onto national television during the industry's biggest boom period, while drawing the same amount of revenue to this industry as myself, and using that influence to push dogshit opinions down people's throats. In Disco's case, it's in regards to pro wrestling, which is harmless enough at least, but in Morley's case, it's so much more than just silly wrestling banter. Morley is actively using his platform in an attempt at bringing unneeded negative attention towards groups of people that aren't hurting anybody. I'm far from political, and I don't really care what anyone believes in regards to whatever side you take in that. However, I am a big believer in human rights, especially when the humans in question are living their lives with no genuine effect on anyone else. Forget just in this industry, Morley is one of the saddest washed up old men I've ever seen, period, for letting the fact that people are living life actively take a toll on his mental health and his public perception the way that it has the last couple of years. He's also one of the stupidest washed-up wrestlers I've ever seen, because he very easily could have believed all of this from the jump and just kept his mouth shut and collect his checks from a few conventions every year, or maybe even some marquee indie shows from time to time. But now, thankfully, not one promoter will ever seriously consider paying the artist formerly known as Val Venis any amount of money to risk having such negative publicity around their events. I'm going to wrap up my yap session with a quote from a pretty cool Twitter user that states, "Support Val Venis, do not support Sean Morley." But yeah, that was Sean Morley and the man who lost his identity. What did you think? Feel free to let me know down in the comments what you thought about this video, as I look for all feedback, positive or negative. If you do enjoy this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you have not already, so you do not miss out on any future videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.